Hello everyone and welcome back to Kingdoms of Colovia. In this episode we will be continuing on the village of Ordrest. We will be building a stable for the village to be able to house all the horses that the villagers need, as well as any traders that may come in within the village. What I'm working on now is the preparation to build the main stable building. As you see, I put down a different ground texture than what the road is, but you'll see later on in the time lapse I'm not happy with that. I will end up changing it out to match with the texture of the road. And with the main building started for the stables, I used the stacked log block from the Conquest Reforged mod. The initial size of the build I wasn't happy with, so you'll see in the time lapse that I extend the width of the building so then it will hold more horses. I wasn't happy with the initial part of the roof, so I ended up changing it out for a wooden trim with hay main part of the roof. As I said earlier, I decided to change out the dirt type to match along with the road to at least blend in well. Building trees is not my strong suit, but I end up happy with what I've done with this one. The next part of the build is the stable master's house. I decided to have it be a little different than the other houses around. You can see where it's half log timbers as well as a plaster over the timbers, or whitewash as you would say from medieval times. And now I decided to build a smaller stable area for the personal horse for the stable master, as well as overflow housing for any horses coming into the stable. And we are back in first person in Ordrest. Welcome back, everybody. In today's episode, as you saw from the time lapse, we worked on a stable master's area for the village of Ordrest. The idea is to have a place for the villagers to come in and rent an area in the stable to be able to have a place for their horses to be upkept and have a safe place for them to stay, because obviously in a lot of these small houses there isn't really room for them to put them anywhere. So the only people who would have horses are really the merchants who go out of town and anyone who's really important within the village. So, as you saw from the time lapse, we worked on this main building of the stables, as well as the stable master's house, and a secondary stable which is for the stable master's own personal use. But this is the painting from the Artcraft paintings add-on, the AC overlay, which has been updated to 2.2, I believe, and this is in painting number 6, the Rohan textures. I thought this would be good to use as a stable indicator within the world, so then if you see any of these, you know that there's a stable up here. So, just a quick show around. What you haven't seen in the time lapse is this small cart right here, as well as these small identical pens for the horses. So players would be able to come in and park their horses here and then wander around town. The stable master, to be able to get to their hay, they would come up here and get the hay from out here and use a pitchfork and throw it down and bring it to the horses. But to get like the hay bundles up, they have this rope here, so they would have one person tie it off on the bottom and then another person just uses the rope and lugs it up and then throws it in here. So there's really not much to it. Really not much to really explain on what this is, as everyone knows what a horse's stable is, but we're gonna go around to the back. And well, on this time lapse I also did some landscaping as well, added in this small pond and a couple of trees, one that you saw in the back and this one too. In this tree design I used a raspberry bush because when it becomes full blossom they kind of look like crab apples, kind of like a crab apple tree. And I also used bracken leaves as well. So if you're interested in building a tree like this, that's pretty much how you do it, just a small tree, raspberry bush, and bracken. Coming to the back, we have the small personal stable, which they would put in their horse here. And this area would be for any overflow. If there isn't any room for the stable, for the horses in there, and if anyone extra comes in, they can rent out this little area, keep a couple of different horses in here. Then, coming up into the house, it's a pretty basic house, pretty much the same design that you've seen before. A pretty decent sized kitchen. But the difference here is that I also made a small bedroom for one of the servants or the children who would also most likely be working in the stables as well. And a small pantry area under the stairs. And going up, we have a very small bedroom. The master bedroom, really. So, it's pretty much the same as all the other houses. But, I thought it would be nice and small since that's pretty much what they'll be able to afford. And coming around to the back, there's a way to get to the stables out through this back way. I also, with the design I originally had, I had fencing going along. I cut out the fence from this back area with the chicken coop and the garden. So instead of having like the fence following along where it was, it just cuts into the building, as you see, against the building. And coming to the back here is where we come out to the front of the stables again. So I'm having a rather shorter episode so I can get more content out. The videos are going to be shorter, hopefully around 15 minutes or so. But that means I'll be able to get content out faster instead of the regular 30-minute episodes. Maybe a pretty decent size build for something like this would be in one episode, or maybe even a couple different houses or something. We'll see what goes on. But I thought I'd give this a try with just having a smaller, shorter video to be able to get content out faster. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, leave a comment below on anything you'd like to see, anything that you think should be changed, any ideas in the future that I should do. And until next time, bye bye.